Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. She is a freshman from the Dartmouth women's hockey team, Lauren Messier. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and how's everything going?
Yeah, Matt, thanks so much for having me. Things are going good. I'm just getting ready to go here next week, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, how nervous are you? How excited are you for going to college for the first time?
I'm more excited than nervous. It's been 2 years since I committed, so yeah, I'm just really looking forward to getting on campus and meeting the team and getting things started.
Yeah, when do you plan to meet with the team, and when do practices start? Because I know the season starts in about a month right now.
Yeah, so we're about a month out. I don't think we're allowed on the ice until after the 13th, so that's when we start classes. Yeah, for sure.
Now, how's your off-season going overall, and have you done anything interesting regarding hockey-related stuff or non-hockey-related stuff?
Yeah, things have been good. Just been training in the gym. I train with two girls that I play junior with, and it's always fun and it's good competition. And we went up north to visit some family, so it's overall it's been a really good summer.
That's good to hear. And how is the vacation up north?
It's good. You go up north, you do the rounds, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else to do up there.
Yeah, I'm an American, so what does the north mean to you guys up in Canada? Because whenever someone says I'm going up north here in the U.S., it means they're going to Canada. So what does it mean when you're up there?
Yeah, so I live about 45 minutes west of Toronto. So my whole family is from the Sault Ste. Marie. It's about 8 hours north of where I am. So that's like north for us.
Oh, nice. And what do you do there? Just hang out on the lake or something like that?
Not usually. I mean, like it's all my grandparents and aunts and uncles. So, just family dinners and you hang out and play cards. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you had that experience, especially since last year everything was different. Most people couldn't really do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely didn't see a lot of family last year. Just kind of hung around. So it's super nice to be able to go up and visit.
Now, overall, how's training going for yourself, and what are you working on regarding your game for next season?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working really hard preparing for the season, and I've got a really great support system behind me. And definitely working on being not such an X's and O's player and just, staying relaxed and staying calm on the ice. And I'm really looking forward to working on that. And, yeah, just getting on campus. It'll be great.
And what is one area of your game you're hoping to improve on the most during this off season?
Yeah, well, you can always improve on, every part of your game, and there's always time to work on your strengths and your weaknesses. So I'd say more of my stick handling and puck work, and, hopefully I could keep that up and see it pay off in the long run.
Now, have you faced any challenges preparing for the season during this off season? Because I know last year a lot of players faced many challenges because it was hard to find ice time and gyms were closed as well. Has it been similar to last year for yourself, since I know things are opening up a little more slowly in Canada versus here in the U.S.?
Yeah, so for the first couple months, COVID restrictions were, pretty heavy up here in Canada for the first little while. I'm super grateful to have had a pretty good setup at home for a home gym, and my dad and I would do workouts together, and it was super fun. And ice time has definitely been different this summer. So the rollerblades got some use this year. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, just talk about rollerblading, because I know it's helps prepare you a little bit, but it's also very hard to stop on those things. So how do you try to translate rollerblading to ice hockey?
Oh, yeah, that's more stationary puck work and shooting on the rollerblades, not much, short stops. And if you do, you end up in the grass or on the ground. So
That hasn't happened yet, right?
no, thankfully, no.
That's good. And regarding the training aspect of things, obviously when you're working out more at home versus in a gym, you're doing more body weight stuff and band workouts. How has that been like for yourself, and how have you adjusted to that in the past 2 years?
Yeah, it's been really good. I'm actually have a nice little squat rack in my basement here, so that's been, super nice to use. And my dad, he was a personal trainer when he was younger, so he knows what he's doing, so it was great. And we have some good weights here. But yeah, for the past few months now, we've been able to get back in the gym, which has been super nice. But yeah, it was definitely a shift in how you have to train.
Yeah, that's good though that your dad's a personal trainer, so you get a little bit of more of an advantage than other players that don't have that.
Yeah, for sure. It's always good competition.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever beat him at anything?
Oh, all the time. I mean, he probably doesn't like me admitting that, but he knows it.
Well, it's one thing that did happen this summer for Dartmouth is they got a brand new head coach. I just want to ask you, have they had the chance to meet that head coach, and how excited are you to play under them?
Yeah, for sure. I've met all of they've brought in all new coaching staff. I've met all of them so far, and they're all great. Like, it's going to be so awesome to play under a full female coaching staff. And I'm like really looking forward to it. And it's going to be a good rebuilding phase. And I'm really excited to play for them.
Yeah, and you're going to play in the ECAC conference for this upcoming season. How excited are you to be a part of that conference, and which team or player are you looking forward the most to going up against?
For sure. Well, it's an amazing league, and there's great teams, and they're always great competition. And I mean, one of my good friends, Kendra Cooper, she plays for Quinnipiac, and I mean, we played junior together, so it'd be fun to play against her instead of with her.
It might be tough, though, just because she's such a good player that you much rather have her on your team than playing against her.
Oh, I've already told her that. She razzes me about it all the time.
That's going to be a fun game, though. Any stadiums that they had the chance to visit? Because I know the ECAC has some really cool stadiums. I know Princeton has one of the oldest rinks in the country, and then Harvard's rink is really cool as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those ones, just Dartmouth. So, I mean, I'm biased. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how's Dartmouth's rink from your perspective, and do you think there's going to be any adjustment to it?
I don't think so. I mean, I love it so much. It's actually pretty cool. You walk in on ground level, and it's kind of like a dip in a bowl. I'm biased, like I said, so it's a really great place to be.
Now, with the PWHL not having a season last year, how do you plan to get rid of the quote-unquote rust when you finally start playing games with Dartmouth? Because obviously it's a little bit different playing real games versus scrimmages and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the goal is always to get that rust off pretty quickly, and you get that with any season, no matter what, like through COVID or not through COVID. Definitely like going hard at practice and in training is going to play a big part in that. And the Ivy League didn't have a season last year, and so it'll be a big transition period for a lot of girls, I'm sure. So you just push through, and by the time October rolls around, you're ready to go.
Now, with the Ivy League not having a season last year, did you watch any college hockey at all this past year?
Yeah, I got to watch a national championship back in March, so that was super great. It's awesome to see them play, especially through COVID. So it's super nice that they made that happen, and it was great competition.
Yeah, and obviously some of your former Stoney Creek players were in D1. Grace Nellis had a great season with Messier, and then obviously Kendall Cooper played very well with Quinnipiac. How cool was it to see some of your former teammates have so much success in D1 college hockey here in the U.S.?
I mean, it's awesome. Like, we all stay in contact. We're a pretty tight-knit group back in Stoney Creek, so it's just super nice to see them doing so well, and they tell us all about their fun times. And it's nice to have that support too, and they share their experiences and what to do, what not to do. So yeah, they're super great.
What have you learned from their experiences so far, just from the outside perspective?
Definitely like how much work it is. You got to just definitely put your head down and grind for the first little while, and then you find your groove, and that transition is obviously such a big change in your life. So yeah.
Now, what were your thoughts on Wisconsin winning the national championship this year? I thought it was an incredible game between them and Northeastern. And Dara Watts is obviously a great goal scorer, but that was the one goal I felt like she wasn't going to score just because it just took a funny bounce.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're a really great team. They're always a top contender, and they had really great competition that whole tournament, and they were able to find the back of the net and with that bounce as well. So, yeah, for sure.
Now, there's going to be 3-on-3 overtime in college hockey this year, and obviously it was adapted last year. How do you plan to adapt to that new overtime rule in 3-on-3?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played a lot of 3-on-3 overtime, so you just definitely got to find your groove and stay calm, and you got to make smart plays because you got tons of room, and definitely you got to control the puck and control your space, and because it could cost you a game in a split second on a quick mistake. So you just got to stay focused.
Yeah, you obviously have to stay defensively minded in those situations because one little defensive mistake can cause an on-man rush for the other team. But another thing I heard was how possession of the puck is very key in those overtime situations. So from your perspective, how do you plan to keep possession of the puck in the offensive zone while also trying to create line changes so you can guys have fresh legs in the offensive zone in those overtime situations?
Yeah, I think definitely just not rushing it. Like, there's tons of time and space as well. So if, someone's been on for too long, you pull it back and you let them get off, you get some fresh legs out there, and then you make your way back in and you set up, and hopefully you can find the back of the net.
Now, for college hockey fans that have never seen you play before, just describe your game to them, and what do you hope to bring to Dartmouth for this upcoming season?
I mean, my skating's always been one of my strongest points. Definitely focused on that growing up playing hockey, and I've always had a pretty good high hockey IQ, and I make good plays, and so I'm ready to bring some energy and get started on campus and at Dartmouth.
Yeah, and what are your goals and expectations for yourself and for the team for this upcoming year?
Yeah, so obviously haven't gone to campus yet, but through our Zoom meetings on the team and building that culture is such an important factor. And having expectations for yourself and for the team, it's all in here. So it's definitely super important. And being able to adapt to situations, probably definitely something I want to work on. And just starting the season off well. I think everyone's looking forward to actually playing some real games this year. So.
Yeah, and is there gonna be any homesickness you think from yourself just because you're gonna be far away from home for the first time in quite a bit? And how do you plan to adjust to that?
I mean, I'm not too much of a homebody. I'm kind of like ready to get out and go and live my own life here. So it's about an 8-hour drive from home base to home sweet Hanover. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Do you have to do any quarantining at all when you get down to campus? Because I know for different schools it's kind of different.
No, I don't. So I'll be leaving this coming week, and then I just get there and get a COVID test, and then I'm good to go when it comes back negative.
Awesome. Well, hopefully it does come back negative. Like they say, stay positive, test negative. So that's the
There you
motto I've been
go.
living by for this past year.
For sure.
Now, let's start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career. So you're from Burlington, Ontario. How'd you start playing hockey and falling in love with the sport?
Yeah, so my parents put me in skating lessons at about 4 years old. And from what they've said, I was just zooming around out there and came pretty naturally. So stuck with it and played some boys hockey growing up, switched over to girls at about Adam, and just like took it more seriously and actually was like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Like, what can I do with it? And I just loved the environment and being at the rink and just getting there early and leaving last. And it was just the best.
And who was your favorite player growing up? Was it an NHL player or was it someone on the women's national team that you looked up to a lot?
I mean, both. Like, the obvious answer is Haley Wickenheiser. She's just such an amazing role model. And I got the chance to skate with Becky Keller and Cheryl Pounder. And, they're just amazing people and hockey players. And your obvious Crosby, PK Subban, all those guys. So, I mean, they're always on TV in the background. And you learn a lot watching them. My dad's a big Habs fan, and I'm a bit of a Leafs fan. So there's a bit of a rivalry there. But, yeah.
A lot of bickering that goes on in the TV when they play, especially this past year when they were facing each other in the playoffs.
Yeah, you've got no idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a Leafs fan, has it been tough, I guess, for these past couple of years, not been able to make it past the first round in the playoffs?
I mean, like, I'm a Leafs fan, but I just like watching hockey, so I'm not like heartbroken when they don't win. So,
Mm-hmm.
but, oh well.
Yeah, I'm a big Bruins fan, so whenever they lose, I'm super heartbroken. So it's kind of weird, just the different aspects of fans, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, obviously, with Haley Wickenheiser, she was one of the first women's hockey players to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. I just got to ask you, as a female athlete, how cool was it for yourself to see that?
I mean, it's amazing. It's so important to just like bring that to the next level. And, she deserves it 1,000,000%. And she's still with the game and she's still giving back. And she's just amazing.
Have you ever met her in person before?
I have not. No, I have not. It would be really cool if I did.
Well, I don't know her at all. So, but if I did, I would totally try to set something up. But unfortunately, not. So I apologize about that.
No.
Now, before you played for Dartmouth, obviously you played in the PWHL for the Stoney Creek Sabres. How'd you get the opportunity to be a part of that league and play for Stoney Creek?
Yeah, so coming up through Stoney Creek, like I came up through Stoney all through minor hockey, and I had the opportunity to practice in AP with the junior team while playing midget. And I guess I was a good fit for the team. So I played 2 years of junior, and I absolutely loved every second of it. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to play junior in Stoney Creek.
Yeah, you played your entire PWHL career with Stoney Creek. Talk about your time there and what did you take away from it overall?
Yeah, Stoney was definitely the best place for me. They had such strong, positive female coaches and role models, which I had never had before. We had coaches Stacy Monarch and Brooke Nicholson, and they've established such an amazing team culture. And they allow us to develop not only as good hockey players, but strong characters and good people. So, I mean, the junior program, Stoney Creek, really helps mimic the college experience to help you prepare. So, I mean, I'm super lucky to have had them as coaches and to have played for them. And they've definitely played a key part in my success. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, what type of leadership did you want to bring to Stoney Creek during your time there? Were you more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player? And how are you going to use that leadership heading into college hockey this year?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty good mix of both, especially through COVID. The girls really looked to our leadership group for guidance. And I mean, I take that role really seriously. And I think an important part of that leadership is being able to get across your different personalities on the team. And you just definitely have to understand your girls and how they need to be communicated with and how you can get across to them and how they respect you and listen to you. And I mean, it was challenging throughout COVID, and it tested us in different ways and tested my leadership abilities. And I mean, definitely got stronger and learned from it. So
now, how did playing for Stoney Creek help prepare you for college hockey?
So I only played one full year in Stoney or in the P-Dub. I mean, it was fast and physical hockey, and the girls are strong and they're big. So that's definitely going to come in handy when I'm playing against girls that are 3-4 years older than myself, and they have those extra years in the league. So, I mean, that's definitely going to come in handy. And I've seen, that aspect of the game.
Yeah, one thing I think is really awesome about Stoney Creek is how the alumni give back to the team. I saw that Sarah Nurse was helping you guys out in practices. How cool is that to meet some of the alumni there and learn from them?
For sure. So Sarah Nurse was actually our assistant coach last year. So, I mean, she's amazing. It's just so nice to see those players come back. So obviously the program's doing something right. I mean, I definitely want to head back there eventually and, give back to the game that gave me so much. Yeah, you just learn a lot from those players, and she's just an amazing person and an amazing player. So, and it's nice to watch her on TV right now in the World Championships. So, yeah.
I know she's doing a great job so far.
Yeah.
So hopefully she can continue it up and potentially win a gold medal for Canada.
Absolutely.
Now, talk about the recruiting process to Dartmouth. What was that like for yourself, and what made you want to go to that school versus other schools? Because I know going to an Ivy League is a little bit different than going to another school.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of closed off to the idea of an Ivy League at the beginning. Dartmouth was one of the last schools to actually approach me in my recruiting process. And then like one weekend we had off, and my mom and dad were like, let's just go and check out campus and like see if you like it. So I was like, okay. But like as soon as I stepped on campus, it sounds really cliche, but it felt like right, and it felt like I was meant to be there. And when you get that feeling, there's like nothing changing your mind and persuading you otherwise. So, and I know a lot of people probably feel that way as soon as they got on campus. So it was just a no-brainer for me.
I've actually never been to Dartmouth before, but everyone says it's the most like beautiful campus in America. I don't know if from what you've been to, is that true?
I mean, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Now, what's the process, I guess, for committing to an Ivy League school? I'm just curious to hear your perspective on it, just because I know there's no letter of intention. So what is that whole process like, being a junior athlete and committing to an Ivy League?
Yeah, so I committed back in grade 10, so 2 years ago, and it was just a verbal commitment, and then it's just been verbal up until I've sent in my application, and then, yeah, you're like good to go after that.
So pretty much you just have to get accepted to the school, and then you're a part of the team.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that's good. Well, I just didn't know that. I think that's pretty cool that it's a little bit different than other schools. I think that makes the Ivy League a little bit different and kind of unique compared to other universities, which I think is interesting to learn about.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, one more question before we head to the non-hockey segment is just, have you had the chance to meet any of your teammates with Dartmouth, and what have they been like?
Yeah, for sure. So our freshman group is already getting kind of close together, and there's 7 of us, and we chat every day, and it's been great. And I actually know there's 3 Canadians and myself included, so I know the 2 other ones. We play against each other in the PWHL, and I know a few of the Americans. It's such a small world, women's hockey, so you kind of like know who everybody is. We've had some Zoom meetings, and I'm just super excited to meet our upperclassmen, and yeah, it'll be great.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. So my first question to you is, what music do you like to listen to, whether it's on a general basis or before a game?
Yeah. Well, general basis, I like my country music, but whatever's playing in the dressing room, it's usually rap or throwback. So, I mean, a little AC/DC never hurt. Some Drake, like Toronto. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's great.
Good mixture. I'm the same way. I like everything. So,
Yeah.
who had the Ox with Stony Creek last year?
Um. Oh, one of our defensemen, Ella Krushelnicki. She did a great job. Shout
Mhm.
out. She did great.
That's good. That's good. Now, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself and why?
It's a good question. I mean, like probably Scarlett Johansson because
Mhm.
Black Widow is super cool, and I mean she's mobile and she's active, so I think she can nail it for sure.
Yeah, I think for myself, probably like Tom Cruise. I think that would be cool to say that Tom Cruise played me in a movie. And plus, I love the Mission Impossible movies. I think he's so awesome in it. So I think it would be cool to have him play me in a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, let's talk about some of the teammates you played with. My first question is who was the funniest teammate you've ever had with Stony Creek?
Yeah, that's got to be hands down Brooke Becker. She's playing over at Providence now. She's been on the podcast
Mhm.
before. You've chatted with her. So, I mean, she just brightens up a room. Ask any girl, like, if you need a laugh, you just head over to Beck's stall and you're good to go.
Now, who had the best style on the team besides yourself, obviously?
I mean, I don't know. Both years in junior, we were pretty stylish teams. And I mean, probably Cooper, Nelsey, and
Mhm.
Vanessa Upson, who's at Mercyhurst now. So, yeah, I mean, everybody, all sty.
Now, who had the best hair on the team? And that's an obvious answer. That's definitely you. You might have the best hair in college hockey already. So, who
Oh,
had the best
boy.
hair at Stony Creek?
Oh, boy. That's a tough question. I don't even know. I mean, I love all the girls. Like, it's hard to say.
Well, I don't know if you know her, but Catherine Trevor, she has curly hair as well. So I don't know if you had the chance to meet her, but that's going to be kind of cool that you have the similar hairstyle.
Yeah, exactly. And Laura Thuoko, who's also going as a freshman, she's got some
Mhm.
great curly hair too. So yeah, it'll be a good season.
Awesome. Well, what is your biggest pet peeve? It seems like nothing really bothers you, but if something did bother you, what would that be?
Well, this one's pretty big. It's probably being late. Like it just grinds my gears when people are late. It's also kind of like fear inducing because after playing sports my whole life, it's like you just got to be early. You got to be on time. 15 minutes prior to the time that you're supposed to be there. Like it's, yeah, you got to be on time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. Sometimes with traffic, sometimes I might be 5 or 10 minutes late. So that's like the only thing. The only thing I'm like always early on is for the podcast and classes. Like I'm usually like sweating if I'm like almost late to class. So that's
Yeah,
like my one thing. Like I got to be on time for that.
for sure.
Now, what is your favorite outdoor activity?
Oh, that's got to be swimming. I mean, like we have a pool in the backyard, and I've lived in the same house for my whole life, and so my family and I we spend a lot of time back there in the summers and just hanging out and swimming. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Final non-hockey question is: if there was any meal that you could have for the rest of your life, what would that meal be and why?
Well, that's probably gonna be chicken parm, like
Mhm.
fresh out of the oven. You can't go wrong.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty plain Jane when it comes to food. Like straight up chicken and salad works for me. So I mean, yeah, I'll be living the college dining hall meal plan soon enough. So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Chicken parm's a great go-to meal. I think another one that most people don't say is like French toast or something like breakfast. Like,
Yeah.
even though it's very unhealthy for you, I think it would be awesome to have that for the rest of your life and have it not affect my body at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, back to some hockey questions. Now, my first question to you is: what do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I feel so strongly about that subject and definitely exposure and development. Like it just plays such a key role. And I mean, what you're doing right now, having a podcast where you're interviewing not only female athletes in the NCAA, but also female athletes who are in the process of getting there. And we just got to build awareness of the women's game, and you got to have equality from both sides, from the female and the male side. So, I mean, I definitely want to give back to the game and do my part that way. And um, Sarah did her part. She came back and she coached our team. And like a lot of girls, they feel so strongly that they need to, give back. And it's awesome. It's really great. Yeah, just inspiring the next generation is also playing a big role in that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people, when they discover women's hockey, at least here in the U.S., it's because of the Olympics, because it's on TV and stuff. So I think broadcasting more games, especially college hockey games, would help grow women's hockey and bring more awareness to it.
Yeah, definitely.
How has Canada done promoting the World Championships this year? I'm just curious about that since you don't really hear about much about it here in the U.S.
Yeah, they've done a great job. I know a few girls. There's actually a girl that went to my high school, Emma Maltez. You've talked to her.
Hmm.
She's on that team right now, and she's amazing. And she's doing great. And they've done a great job promoting that. And their Instagram is doing well. And it's always on TV, so we catch every game. And yeah, I bet you a lot of people are tuning into that.
Yeah, I hope so. It's a little bit different here in the U.S. just because hockey isn't the most popular sport here in the U.S. It's football and basketball. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's hard to promote just the NHL in general. So I think it's cool that the NHL Network is promoting this Women's World Championship, and I hope it's doing very well. I haven't really checked the ratings for it here in the States.
Yeah, no, it's good for sure.
Now, what advice would you give a younger player who's trying to pursue a Division I college hockey career?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you got to control what you can control. We have a saying in our house is control the controllable. So, I mean, you have control of the amount of effort that you put into it, and your commitment is everything, obviously. Like, you got to put in those extra hours, and you have to understand that your life is going to be different than the average teenager and the average person. So, and you have to be okay with that. And I mean, it's hard, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
Well, that's great advice. And I want to end off this interview just asking you if there's any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your former teammates with Stoney Creek or current teammates with Dartmouth or family members or friends, anyone you want to shout out that I might have not mentioned during this interview.
Uh, I mean, shout out to Big Green Women's Hockey. I'll see you guys in a few days and can't wait to get things rolling.
Well, hopefully I get the chance to see your team play in person. I hope they allow fans back in the arena, which I think they will. But, like you said, control the controllable. So I just don't want to assume anything just yet. But thank you so much, Lauren, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. You're one of my favorite prospects in the college hockey this year, and I look forward to watching you play. Thank you for your time. It really means a lot to me. Take care and stay safe. And thank you again.